The rain fell mercilessly over the small town of Ashford, drenching the streets in a heavy gloom. Emma Gray sat by her window, her fingers curled around a worn leather diary. It wasn't hers. It belonged to Daniel, the man she once trusted with every corner of her heart. 2 years of love, loyalty, and sacrifice had been reduced to nothing but lies, inked into those pages. Daniel hadn't just betrayed her. He had betrayed them. In between the pretty words of devotion, Emma found records of nights spent with another woman, notes on how he played both sides, and chillingly, even his mockery of her trust. Emma didn't cry anymore. That phase was over. The grief had sharpened into something else, a blade of silence she carried within her. Tonight, she made a vow. Daniel would pay. Daniel lived in the illusion of control. He was wealthy, influential, and arrogant enough to believe no one could challenge him. He hosted lavish parties in his glass mansion, sipping expensive wine while whispering poison into people's ears. To the world, Daniel was charming. To Emma, he was venom. But Emma was no longer the naive woman who once believed in his charm. She was calculating now, careful with every step she took. Her first move was subtle. She reached out to Olivia, Daniel's business associate, who had been wronged by him once before. Olivia was bitter but hesitant until Emma slid the diary across the cafe table. The woman's eyes widened, her lips curling into a grin. "If you're serious about bringing him down, count me in." The alliance was sealed. The plan unfolded like chess. Emma knew Daniel's weaknesses: greed, pride, and his insatiable desire to be admired. She fed his ego by pretending to forgive him, returning to his parties dressed in crimson gowns that caught everyone's eyes. Daniel thought he had her back under his control. But while he flaunted her presence as a trophy, Emma was already planting the seeds of his downfall. She leaked fragments of his diary to journalists under the cover of anonymity. She exposed shady deals he had hidden in offshore accounts, his betrayal of partners, and even the intimate secrets he once swore were theirs alone. The storm gathered quietly, and Daniel, blinded by his arrogance, didn't see it coming. One night, the mansion glowed with music and laughter. Daniel, glass in hand, pulled Emma close and whispered, "See, darling, no one can touch me. Not even you." Emma smiled, her lips brushing his ear. "That's what makes this so beautiful." Before Daniel could question her, a loud knock silenced the room. The authorities entered, armed with warrants. Olivia, standing in the corner, lifted her glass to Emma in acknowledgement. The guests gasped as Daniel was handcuffed. In front of everyone, papers were read aloud: fraud, tax evasion, embezzlement. His empire collapsed in minutes, the same way he had shattered Emma's heart. But Emma wasn't finished. As Daniel was dragged away, his eyes locked on hers, rage burning inside them. "You did this," he hissed. Emma leaned forward just enough for him to hear. "No, Daniel, you did this. I only made sure the world saw you for who you are." The trial was merciless. With Olivia's testimony and the diary's evidence, Daniel's empire was reduced to rubble. His allies turned against him, his fortune drained by lawsuits and debts. Once adored, he became a name people spat out in disgust. Emma didn't attend the sentencing. She didn't need to. Justice wasn't in the courtroom. It was in the silence of her soul. The peace of knowing he could no longer harm her or anyone else. Months later, Emma stood by the riverbank, the diary clutched in her hands. Its pages were smudged with ink and rain, heavy with memories of love turned poison. She lit a match and watched the flames eat through the lies. The ashes carried away by the cold wind. For the first time in years, she smiled. Not out of triumph, but liberation. Revenge hadn't healed her wounds, but it had freed her. Daniel's shadow no longer loomed over her life. As the last ember flickered out, Emma whispered to the night, "Never again." And with that vow, she walked forward, leaving the ashes of betrayal behind her forever.